Calling to order the regular meeting of the Wheeling Plan Commission for Wednesday, September 28th, 2022. Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Commissioner Casper is absent with previous notice. Commissioner Heiken.
Here.
Commissioner Berkey.
Here.
Commissioner Sprague is here. Commissioner Riles.
Here.
Commissioner Meyer.
Here.
Chairman Johnson.
Here. Just hang on a second here. Going through the sign-in sheets. That's the only one. Okay. All right. Ms. Nyes, any changes to the agenda this evening?
Yes, docket item 7D is withdrawn from the agenda. They notified me prior to the meeting that they're withdrawing their project.
All right, thank you. That's it.
Yes.
Citizens' concerns and comments. We had nobody sign up, so I guess we can move right on to the one consent item we have, SCBA 22-01. Appearance approval for a ground sign for Anemone Landscaping at 416 Mercantile Court. Are there any questions on this? If not, I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Heiken, second.
Yeah.
Yes.
Commissioner Sprague is yes. Commissioner Heiken.
Yes.
Commissioner Berkey.
Yes.
Commissioner Riles.
Yes.
Commissioner Meyer.
Yes.
Chairman Johnson.
Yes. All right, items for review, docket number 2022-32. Special use to permit a ground transportation service, Always Medical Carriers, Inc., at 275 12th Street. Mr. Secretary.
Always Medical Carriers Incorporated leasee is seeking special use approval pursuant to Title 19 zoning of the Wheeling Municipal Code, Chapter 19.10, use regulations and associated sections in order to permit a ground transportation service located at 275 12th Street, which is zoned I-1, light industrial and office. A special use is defined in the zoning code as a use of parcel of land that requires review and consideration before approval due to the potential for negative impacts on the surrounding properties. In order to be considered for a special use, the petitioner is required to demonstrate through testimony to the Plan Commission at a public hearing that the request meets the standards of the village code, including but not limited to how the proposed use will not damage the enjoyment or use of the surrounding properties. Prior to the public hearing, the petitioner provides written statements meant to show that the request meets the standards for a special use as established in Title 19. The Commission chairperson will typically direct that these statements be entered into the record without a full reading of them at the hearing. Based upon the testimony and supporting materials submitted, the Plan Commission will make findings in support of or against the petitioner's testimony and report those findings to the Village Board.
Thank you. Ms. Nyes, anything on this?
Yes. This docket is before you for a special use for a ground transportation service, and I'll let the petitioner explain what that is, but I just wanted to note that they're already operating at this location, and they currently park their vehicles in this southeast parking lot, or that's where they're proposing to park them. And that was incorporated into our recommended conditions, which there's 3 of them. And those are: 1, that the maximum number of fleet vehicles permitted to be parked and or stored at the subject site at any given time shall not exceed 24 vehicles and shall only be parked within the southeast parking lot. Number 2, fleet vehicles shall consist of passenger light motor vehicle minivans and sedans. And number 3, any increase in the number of fleet vehicles or types of vehicles shall require an amendment to the special use, which such changes shall be submitted to the Plan Commission, who shall make findings of fact and recommendations which shall be transmitted to the Village Board.
Thank you. That's it. Mr. Shapiro,
Thank you,
you're
Chairman.
representing the petitioner this evening?
I am. I'm representing the petitioner in this case. You want to put your hand up too?
Come on up, because I'll need to get your name for the record anyways. You swear the testimony you're giving tonight to be the truth?
I do.
And state your name and
Thank
business
you. I'm
address for
Dan
the
Shapiro
record.
on behalf of the petitioner in this case, and thank you for having us. To my right is Michael Grotch, the owner of the business. I'm going to give a brief summary, and then if there are any questions, I'm sure Michael can answer. But it's a pretty straightforward application. First, with regards to the conditions, yes, those are satisfactory, no problems, no disagreements. We're good with those conditions. He leases 400 square feet of this large building for his business, which really is to provide transport for those in need, for those who have special needs, those who have special educational needs or special medical needs, and he needs a place to have those vehicles. He has 28 employees. Most of those are the folks who drive the trucks. I'm sorry, not trucks, the vans. Marcy's head popped up real fast on that. The vans. And then someone in the office who's there from 10 to 3, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. It is, you know, like I said, it's a pretty straightforward use that Mr. Grotch operates for schools, for other sorts of, I would say, public entities to provide this service for those in need. Michael, you want to go a couple words?
Hello, good evening. My name is Michael Grotch. I'm the owner of All Waste Transportation Services. This company opened up in 1995, and we have been providing transportation for particularly kids in school districts with special needs. As a matter of fact, my company provides transportation for London School and Wheeling as well. We are in a very much of a niche market, and we only serve the kids who require individualized transportation. Some of them travel with nurses, some of them have behavior issues, but we do provide transportation for local school districts. We humbly ask for your permission to keep parking there. We understand that we were parking there before, but that's when we initially moved in, the landlord did not foresee it as being a problem. If you would allow us to do that and to keep parking there, I and all of my staff would sincerely appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. This is a public hearing, and we did have someone sign up to speak. Olga from 245 12th Street. Come on up. I have to swear you in too?
Hi.
You swear the testimony you're giving tonight to be the truth?
Testimony tonight, to be the truth.
Yes.
Okay. We live right on the border of that. And I'm glad for that business and everything, but the only issue, they park their buses in front on the northwest side instead of northeast. And you can see right there, the bus is right there, northwest side, right here, you can see it. And even flatbed trucks, they're not supposed to be there. And it's our concerns that if we allow, they're going to park right there instead of southeast corner.
Okay.
You can see in the picture, they park right now at northwest. And flatbed trucks right there for some reason.
Yeah, so he doesn't have flatbed trucks.
Why
No.
are they there?
I don't know why those
During the
flatbed.
night.
Yeah, but those aren't his. So I don't know why those flatbed
Okay, and how
trucks.
about the yellow buses right there in the corner, northwest side?
Well, I don't know, it was part
Come on up here.
We had before, and I can double check, there is one vehicle that parked there because of it's a 10-passenger vehicle, and it's a little bit longer and easier for the driver to park it there. It is not a diesel vehicle. It has not been operating for at least a month. And I don't know if it was just parked there temporarily, but those flatbed trucks, we have nothing to do with the trucking business at all. We used to have a company that was operating out of our vicinity. There was a trucking company. They are also no longer there. But yes, for 100% certainty, we own no flatbed trucks.
Who leases the rest of this building?
Excuse me, sir?
You only have, what was it, 400 square
Yeah.
feet? Who's in the rest of the building?
It's a factory.
Who's the owner of the factory?
I don't know who the
You don't
owner is.
Because that's obviously their vehicles, and
There,
it
but
has nothing to
I
do with
noticed that I have not seen flatbed trucks there for months.
It's just,
Because there was a company, I think, that was maybe parking there somehow, but they're no longer there, and I haven't seen them for months.
I don't know, oh, it's,
So,
So our concerns is to
20.
not parking northwest, north, southeast, it's absolutely fine, it's not on our side, but northwest, no buses, no any kind of different transportation than
Understood.
just the regular, during the regular hours.
Unfortunately, the only thing before us tonight is this gentleman's,
Okay, so we want to
Minivans.
guarantee no buses on northwest side.
that I think he
If you
can,
will guarantee us on
So
northwest
that's one of the
side.
conditions?
yes.
And that's
Yeah.
fine. Yeah, that's
Okay.
one of the conditions.
So you
We-
promise us no buses on northwest side.
I'm promising these guys here, too. That's part of the conditions.
This is my concern.
Thank you.
Our concern.
Okay. So we don't know who the other vehicles belong to at this point, but we just want to be sure that it's not from Always.
And I'd point out this is a GIS picture from 2021, so,
What, this
yeah, this
picture
one on
is-
the screen, so it's not necessarily like the today or this week.
Right. Okay. We will keep an eye on it, I guess. Like I said, I don't know who's in the rest of that building or what they make. Was that the California Closet place before?
No, sir, it is a surgical supply.
Surgical supply, okay. All right. We'll go to the commission now. Commissioner Meyer,
No questions.
Commissioner Riles,
No questions, thank you.
Commissioner Sprague.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening. I just wanted to be clear, I did notice that vehicle that you're talking about on the north side, that one bus, and you say you don't use that bus anymore?
Yes, sir.
So is it just being stored there, or?
Yes, sir.
And what's your future plans for that vehicle?
Selling it.
I see.
Either scrapping it or selling it. because we
Why don't you come
will
up
not
here,
be using it
sir?
as well.
Come on back up here,
I'm sorry.
so our audience at home can hear everything.
The future plans for that vehicle is to be sold.
Okay, so you have no other reason to be on the north side of that building ever, right?
Well, so you have to understand, sometimes when you're moving vehicles around, let's say we got a delivery of something else, we would temporarily put a vehicle there, maybe an hour or two, and then we would move it back, or the driver needs to park his vehicle there. We're operating, we're working. But to store something there permanently, no, I have no plans.
But that's what the complaint is about, is vehicles operating on that north side.
We are not currently operating from there. There is one vehicle there that is just, it doesn't even have a working battery, so it's being used for storage of some of our equipment.
Okay.
That is what it is being used for now.
I understand.
There are no other vehicles of Always that we are keeping there or have any plans of doing so in the future.
But you're stating that you do use the north parking lot for your operations.
We're using it for that one vehicle currently now as a storage. If it is of a concern, I will remove that vehicle.
That's not my concern. My concern is that your buses or vehicles are not on the north side during normal operation.
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
All right. Commissioner Berkey,
No questions, thank you.
Commissioner Heiken.
Yeah, thank you. So do you have plans on expanding business at all, or you're going to stay where you're at? That's that.
Well, we're happy at where we're at now.
Okay. Yeah, the van is kind of an issue, but you're using it for storage and it's parked on the north side?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, well, thank you for all that you do. It's very important, what you do for the community as well. I have no other questions, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. You said you started this business in '95?
Yes, sir.
Where had you been running it out of before moving here?
We were in 3605 Woodhead Drive in Northbrook.
Ah, okay. And where in this big building is your office located, the 400 square feet you have? Is it by where you're parking those vehicles, or?
No, sir, it is right by the central entrance into the building to the right. On the ground floor.
Marcy, can you move the arrow around? So,
Around here?
near the center of the building? Is that what you're saying?
No, the entrance, if you would go all the way to your left, yes, right there, that's where you, a little bit down, that's how you enter into the building,
Ah.
and there's an office right to the right of the entrance door.
Okay. And there's other businesses between there and your parking area?
No, it's a factory.
Okay. All right. Any other questions from the commission? Nope. All right, Marcy, any conditions? Oh, you read the three conditions again, I'm sorry.
Sorry. Change the page. Number one, the maximum number of fleet vehicles permitted to be parked and/or stored at the subject site at any given time shall not exceed 24 vehicles and shall only be parked within the southeast parking lot. Number two, fleet vehicles shall consist of passenger light motor vehicle minivans and sedans. Number three, any increase in the number of fleet vehicles or types of vehicles shall require an amendment to the special use, which such changes shall be submitted to the Plan Commission, who shall make findings of fact and recommendations which shall be transmitted to the village board.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion?
Could we add a condition that they don't operate on the north, in the north parking lot at all?
Well, it says that it's limited to the southeast.
Okay.
They will park in the southeast side, Commissioner, but, I mean, it's possible, you know, they might be driving the north just because that's the path of where the van's gonna go. So, no, they don't do their operations on the north, if that's the concern. But I don't want it to be taken like literally that they can't be in the north if they happen to be driving a van in and out. I think that would be a little onerous. But they have no intention
But there's-
of parking or having anything to store up in the north.
But their operations are on the
I
southeast
understand, but
corner.
sometimes people drive on another side of a building because of circumstances that we can't anticipate. So I just don't want there to be like, you can't go there because that's a no-fly zone.
Well, I don't want them there because it's residential over there.
I understand. I understand your concern. They are not going to conduct business on the north side.
Thank you.
So do you think we need a condition?
No, I'm good with what is
Okay.
there.
So then I'm looking for a motion to approve this.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Meyer,
Here we go.
Commissioner Meyer and
Commissioner Berkey.
Commissioner Meyer,
Yes.
Commissioner Berkey,
Yes.
Commissioner Heiken,
Yes.
Commissioner Sprague is a yes, Commissioner Riles,
Yes.
Chairman Johnson.
Yes. You're all set.
Okay, so this will move forward to the village board on October 17th.
Thank you very much, appreciate it, thank you.
And now I need a motion to close the public hearing on 2022-32.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Meyer and Commissioner Riles. Commissioner Meyer,
Yes.
Commissioner Riles,
Yes.
Commissioner Heiken,
Yes.
Commissioner Berkey,
Yes.
Commissioner Sprague is a yes, Chairman Johnson.
Yes. All right, next up we have 2022-33, special use to permit a packaged liquor store, Dundee Food and Liquors at 11 West Dundee Road. Mr. Secretary, when you're ready.
Ankur Patel, owner of Dundee Food and Liquors, is seeking special use approval pursuant to Title 19 zoning of the Wheeling Municipal Code, Chapter 19.10, use regulations and associated sections in order to permit a packaged liquor store located at 11 West Dundee Road, which is Zone B3, General Commercial and Office. A special use as defined in the zoning code is a use of parcel of land that requires review and consideration before approval due to the potential for negative impacts on surrounding properties. In order to be considered for a special use, petitioner is required to demonstrate through testimony to the Plan Commission at a public hearing that the request meets the standards of the village code, including but not limited to how the proposed use will not damage the enjoyment or use of the surrounding properties. Prior to the public hearing, the petitioner provides written statements meant to show that the request meets the standards for special uses established in Title 19. The Commission chairperson will typically direct that these statements be entered into the record without a full reading of them at the hearing. Based upon the testimony and supporting materials submitted, the Plan Commission will make findings in support of or against the petitioner's testimony and report those findings to the village board.
Thank you. Ms. Nyes?
Yes, so this docket is to apply for a special use for a liquor store. So I just wanted to provide some background that was in the staff report, but just so we're all on the same page. So this was the former mom and dad pantry that was a convenience store. And in 2009, mom and dad pantry did receive a special use to allow packaged liquor sales at their convenience store. And then in 2011, their special use was modified to increase the amount of floor area that was allowed for packaged liquor sales. For some reason, they had limited it to a certain amount of floor area. And in that 2011 amendment, they limited it to this 6 doors of cooler space, which you can see on the site plan, which, Ankur, you can correct me when if I'm wrong, but it was just, it's pretty much over here. Well, yeah, hold on, because I think this is where you're in, hold on. So he'll explain this when he comes up. And so now, because things have changed, he would like to sell more liquor products, and so that's why the option is to go now to a liquor store. And some of these things are based on the liquor license requirements. Like you have to have so much grocery area or so much liquor area. So we are working under those kind of regulations as well. So the one condition that staff proposed is just that if approval of this special use is contingent upon the petitioner receiving a Class D liquor license from the Village Liquor Commission. And that's really all I have.
All right. Petitioner can come up, get sworn in. You swear the testimony you're giving tonight to be the truth?
Yes, sir.
State your name and business address, please.
Yes, my name is Ankur Patel, 11 West Dundee Road, Wheeling, Illinois, 60090. We reopened the closed store that was closed last year, and Marcy knows from day one how much work we have put into. This store is being completely gutted and rebuilt as we acquired a permit, which lengthy 3 months of process. So we rebuilt everything in the store, basically from floor, ceiling, tile, you name it. It's brand new store. This is one of the nicest so-called convenience store in Wheeling right now. Even some of the village staff member has came as a customer and they were like, wow, what a great job you guys have done. So we have spent good amount of money. And the floor plan, what you see, is similar to 2009, which was approved, which I have a copy here, if you like to see it. It's exactly the same. The only changes we have made, see here, just for them to see it, so they can compare it. So in 2009, it generally just says grocery, grocery. In my drawing, this is an architectural drawing, which we drew it to get the permits. We clearly define what each aisle has. So this is the current setup of the store right now. But as the time has changed from 2009, which Ms. Marcy referred, was limited to 6 doors. And in 2009 drawing, there is an 8-door freezer, which you see is a beer cooler right now, because I don't need 8-door freezer space right now. I don't even have a product to probably even get to fill the 8-door freezer. So the business model have changed from what the original liquor license was approved back in 2009. So in order for us to be successful and serve the community better, we need to get a better pricing on the products we buy, especially in alcoholic category, because as more and more product assortment comes to the market, as you have new millennials moving into the new condominium developments in Wheeling, especially the new cinema area and uptown area, and more requests we're getting from those new generations coming into the town is, why don't you have more craft beer? Why don't you have a gluten-free beers? Why don't you have a hard seltzer, which are healthier option for the beer drinkers? And my answer is, I'm limited to space. Because from the 2009 docket, there is only so much restricted space, some reason in this location, that it is hard for us to bring all what the community wants us to bring into the store, especially in the packaged liquor area. And even in this current drawing, I'm promising you that all the hard liquor is gonna be behind the counter. Nothing is going over the counter. Everything is staying behind the counter as far as the hard liquor. We are seeking a Class D license just to expand our beer selection. So we can see right now, because of COVID, the supply constraint is really hitting us. So any distributor, beer distributor right now, the minimum deals, we have to buy 80 cases, 90 case pallet deals to get a discount. If I get a discount on the pallets, then I can pass it on to the customers. If I get the higher cost product, then I have to sell at a higher cost product. So it's beneficial for community to get it at cheaper price, if I can get it at cheaper price too. And we are competing with liquor barn down the street, which is guerrilla liquor mafias right now. So they be like, in order to compete with the big boys, I need a space, a little bit more display space. And the only way me and Marcy were talking back and forth for many months was to seek a Class D license where it eliminates the so much hurdle in 2009 docket it has. So it will give us some maneuvering room to display more product, buy quantity. We can store it some in the back, but the back room has limitation. So where you see the wall against the 8-door cooler, that's my primarily stocking area, a little bit on the right side, right there, where there is a beer and the Pepsi cooler right now. So that's my primarily stocking area right now for any pallets we get. So basically we need more room to stock. The back has limited space. In order to get lower pricing, we need to display more of a variety, and even to support the community, what the newer people moving into the village are demanding, so they don't have to go further out to like a Binny's or Liquor Barn to get their daily stuff. So I'm not asking a lot. If you look at the 2009 to what the current setup of the store, it is basically, and with the Class D liquor license is 10% consumable goods allowed. So based on this, we did the measurement with Adam from the village. We have walked through on the floor, so I know how they measure, and I actually wrote on what's the shelf, 3 feet wide, the length, and I did the math. Even with the Class D, I'm under 200. My square foot is 2,600. So I'm allowed up to 260 square foot of consumable goods display, and the current setup is under 200. So I can still sell pretty much medicines, packaged foods, candies, everything, just like it is. But it will allow me to serve more alcoholic beverages to more demanding, newer customers that are moving into the town. I don't want them to go somewhere else. I want them to keep coming back, spend their money at the same place, and still get everything what they need. So that's my ultimate goal. And I've been in the business for 15 plus years. I personally own 2 7-Elevens from 2007 to 2020-21. I finally, after 24-hour operation was just too much. So I sold it, and I reopened the closed store. I put a lot of money, a lot of hard work. Miss Marcy is very, very aware of it. And we've been in the business long time. I also built and operated Papa John's Pizza. So I've been in the business a long time. I know somewhat I'm doing so far. But just to serve community better, we need to have more assortment. So they don't go anywhere else. And it is beneficial to the people who live around the area to get cheaper prices, because why pay $2 more if they can get it less? And I have actually a customer who was a witness when we were close how the other prices were going up, well, because they were taking advantage of people, there is no options. So we are trying to do good, and we just like a little bit more product assortment, that's all.
All right, thank you. This is a public hearing, but I don't believe anybody signed up to speak on this. So we'll go to the commissioners. We'll start at the other end with Commissioner Hyken.
Yes, thank you. I just have a couple questions. So you said you're going to, if allowed, you'll be able to buy pallets of the.
Not pallets. See, the problem with like, for example, Modelo's or Bud Light or anything, minimum, like, in order for us to get a discount on a 12-pack or 15-pack or 6-pack, the minimum case order has to be 90 cases.
Okay.
Or 80 cases. Now, if I order 80 cases, I can't fit all in the back room. That's just a one vendor. You're talking 3 different beer vendors. So you're talking 200 cases.
I just heard you say pallet. That was my.
But they bring like on a pallet.
They bring a pallet in, and that's all going to be. You'll have room to store all that.
50% in the back in the cooler, but the rest 20-25 will have to be on the floor.
Okay. And then the only other concern I have is where are these trucks going to be unloading
In the back.
in the back. Okay. That's all I have. Thank you.
Right there. It pulls in the back alley.
Thank you.
Commissioner Berkey.
Thank you. Pretty straightforward. I have no questions.
Commissioner Sprague.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
I just wanted to note that you run a stellar operation. Your place is immaculate, and I wish you good luck.
Thank you, sir.
That's all I have.
Commissioner Riles.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. How are you?
Good, sir. How are you?
Thank you so much. I'm doing well. Very, very good statements and comments to support your cause. And I believe your operation, I've been in there, and
Perfect.
actually I was impressed. So I see the hard work that you've put into it. I just want to say that competition is good.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
So your neighbors down the way, obviously, owners, they feel the same way you feel.
Yes.
They want the customers to continue to come in and, buy their product. And I understand your position being, so to speak, new on the block, and trying to leverage your position as best you can. So in saying all that, I do agree with what you're attempting to, or what you're asking for. Variety is always good, and it's always a key. And if it helps support the local business guy, but also the community,
Yes.
it's a positive thing. I think the only thing that I concern myself with is when the presentation sounds so, so perfect. But reality sets in and the real world sets in, and you talked about the previous owner, how they somehow inflated their pricing on their product.
And my prices are anybody out here. We are not, I own a 7-Eleven. 7-Eleven prices are high for convenience store. As a former owner, I'm saying it. I kept 30 cents less than 7-Eleven because I knew in my mind that those prices were high. So my operating margin, we normally, in 7-Elevens, we operate 35 to 40%. In this store, I kept it at 25 because I want to be fair.
Sure.
I don't want to be greedy. I don't have to share with anybody. Don't have to pay any royalty, which I love. So any royalty savings gets passed on to customers.
That's good to hear because, again, in presenting your position, you see all the right things at the right time, but, we're talking about longevity and we're talking about the community. And that's what I think we're all want to make sure that the words that you're sharing with us today is a part of your fabric, and it's a part of your business plan that's going to stay in place
It will.
throughout your existence here in the
It will.
community. Because at the end of the day, it's about protecting the community and the people in the community. So I commend what you're doing, and I like the fact that you mentioned loyalty, and I truly hope that, you know, that's your position, your stance, and that you stick by it. But
Thank you, sir. I
thank
will.
you, and that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Commissioner Meyer.
No questions, thank you.
Only if you come up and get sworn in.
I apologize, I didn't know how to sign.
I know you came in late. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give to be the truth?
Yes, I do.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Miguel Centron, 359 Inland Drive, apartment 2A, Wheeling, Illinois.
Get up by the microphone, please.
359 Inland Drive, Wheeling, Illinois, apartment 2A, 60090.
Okay?
And I'm just, what he was saying, I don't know him, like, but it's been, for the last few months, I have been going to this place, and it's night and day from what used to be there. And the prices are fair, but besides that, what I look for, it's always the attitude of a place and how people how they're treated. And one of his employees one day did something beyond what he should have done. And so I appreciate those things. And like I said, I came here just to support him because it's if you've gone in there, it's a very nice place, and something like that brings value to any community. And you know, I just like to say that, you know.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Don, there's another person in the back.
Oh, there's someone else that wants to speak? Come on up. Wait till you get up here. I swear you in. You swear to tell your testimony you're giving tonight to be the truth?
Yeah.
Okay, name
Yeah.
and address.
My name is Osvaldo Medina, 305 7th Street, right here in Wheeling, 60090.
Okay.
And also, it's very convenient for me now that I'm no longer with my wife, so me and my daughter, we can travel to and far when we don't have transportation to the Walmart to come and stop by. And he is well assorted with, you know, snacks that my daughter can use. So I'm just here to support him as well.
All right,
You know, so,
thank you.
yep, likewise.
And we have yet another. Come on up. And raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you're giving tonight to be the truth? Please state your name and address for the record.
It's hard for me to talk. I had surgery.
Okay.
I wrote it
can-
down.
Can you pull the microphone down a little closer, maybe?
My apologies. My name is Dolly DeVito. I live at 103 East Dundee Road in Wheeling.
Okay.
And I wrote this out in case you don't understand me. I can give it to you.
Okay.
Okay, this store is so much better than the other store. I don't drive, so I walk there. They greet me by my name. When I go in, they even deliver for me, so I don't have to carry the stuff home. So to me, this place is wonderful. I've been there for almost 5 years, living there, and I've been to the other store, and it's night and day. And the people there are just wonderful. Every time I walk in, they greet me by my name, like I said, and it's a pleasure. I give them 5 stars.
Okay.
Do you want this?
No, I think we understood.
Everybody understood me?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. Let's see, we were up to me, I think. So what you're looking to do basically is take that, what is it, 6 or 8 door freezer and turn that into
Beer,
just
because
a beer
modern,
cooler.
even gas stations now have beer caves. So I just need more flexibility as far as where I can. And the only way to do it is to get a Class D liquor license, which will allow us to flexibility,
Right.
you know, to do what we need to do.
Okay. Well, with that, Marcy, just read that one condition, which is
Sure.
very dependent.
Approval of this special use is contingent upon the petitioner receiving a Class D liquor license from the Village Liquor Commission.
Thank you. And I would entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
Hyken and Meyer.
Hyken and Meyer. Commissioner Hyken,
Yes.
Commissioner Meyer,
Yes.
Commissioner Berkey,
Yes.
Commissioner Sprague is a yes, Commissioner Riles,
Yes.
Chairman Johnson.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so you will move on to the Village Board on October 17th,
Yes.
and
Are they
we'll talk
having a
before then.
Liquor Commission?
Yeah, you'll
meeting
probably do
before
the
that?
Liquor Commission.
Already filled the application with Mr. Martin.
Right, so that Liquor Commission will probably happen before that Village Board meeting
Yeah.
at the same night.
Okay.
night.
So me and Martin will talk to you about that.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Marcy, for all your
Yeah.
help. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
She's
Good luck.
best helper.
Thank you.
Good luck.
And bring your supporters to the, to the board meeting, too. All right, we need a motion to close 2022-33.
So moved.
There's a tie.
That was Commissioner Berkey and Commissioner, was it?
I think that,
Yeah, Commissioner Berkey and then Commissioner Sprague second.
it was a tie.
I'll give him. Commissioner Berkey,
Yes.
Commissioner Sprague is a yes, Commissioner Hyken,
Yes.
Commissioner Riles,
Yes.
Commissioner Meyer,
Yes.
Chairman Johnson.
Yes. All right, next up. We have docket 2022-34, a special use to permit a massage establishment, Massage, I think I'm pronouncing it correctly, 77 South Milwaukee Avenue. Mr. Secretary.
Massage, leasee is seeking special use approval pursuant to Title 19 zoning in the Wheeling Municipal Code, Chapter 19.10, use regulations and associated sections in order to permit a massage establishment located at 77 South Milwaukee Avenue, which is Zone B3, General Commercial and Office. A special use is defined in the zoning code as a use of parcel of land that requires review and consideration before approval due to the potential for negative impacts on the surrounding properties. In order to be considered for a special use, the petitioner is required to demonstrate through testimony to the Plan Commission at a public hearing that the request meets the standards of the village code, including but not limited to how the proposed use will not damage the enjoyment or use of the surrounding properties. Prior to the public hearing, the petitioner provides written statements meant to show that the request meets the standards for special use as established in Title 19. The Commission chairperson will typically direct that these statements be entered into the record without a full reading of them at the hearing. Based upon the testimony and supporting materials submitted, the Plan Commission will make findings in support of or against the petitioner's testimony and report those findings to the village board.
Thank you, Ms. Nyes.
So this tenant space that you see on the screen here was previously occupied by a massage establishment, Shen Wei Massage, and they have recently closed. And they had a business license, and the village municipal code does not permit us to transfer those business licenses. So the petitioner is required to come in and get their own special use and their own business license. So those things are not transferable for massage establishments. So there was already an establishment here that had been in operation for, I don't know how long, but for a while. And then we just have the one special condition that we usually put on these is that the petitioner shall submit an application for business license to the Community Development Department. Upon demonstrating the petitioner and the business operation complies with all requirements of Chapter 4.74 of the Wheeling Municipal Code, a business license shall be obtained prior to operation of the massage establishment at the subject location.
Thank you. Is the petitioner here?
Good evening.
Swear you in first. You swear the testimony you're giving tonight to be the truth.
I do.
Name and address.
For the record,
For the
Jeff
record.
Gist, attorney on behalf of the petitioner. I'm kind of sad that I have to follow Mr. Patel. I'd actually like to have him as my attorney. It's quite impressive. And to my left is the petitioner, and hopefully I'll pronounce her name correctly, Xiaowei Peng. And then I've taken a liberty, she's primarily Mandarin speaking, so I took the liberty of bringing an interpreter, Brian Liu.
Very good. All right, tell us a little bit about what you're going to do that Marcy may have missed.
Pretty much, without belaboring the obvious, this is our attempt to take over the previously occupied massage. There have been no substantial changes to the pre-existing massage in terms of the layout. We freshened it up a little bit with some paint and cleaned it up and put new furniture, obviously, but for the most part, there are no structural changes, the same thing. They intend to operate both foot massage and full body massages. There are, I think, 5 rooms, 2 bathrooms. It is intended that Ms. Peng will hire an additional 2 masseuses to accompany her herself. She plans to be on-site full-time, 7 days a week, to supervise the facility. She is a licensed masseuse. She's been in the business 4 or 5 years. She managed 2 other spas successfully. I have to say this not as a defensive manner, but it's something that people in the back of their mind think about when it comes to massage spas. She's got a clean criminal record, no issues with regard to any of her previous spas. I do want to proactively answer a couple of questions, because again, when we talk about massage spas, sometimes people get a little nervous about what could happen because we hear stories. Some of the precautions that Ms. Peng has taken to prevent the occurrence of any unforeseen circumstances, we call it our 6-fold attack plan. Number 1, as I indicated, she plans to personally manage the business on-site, supervise employees 7 days a week. Number 2, she will not advertise in any of what I will refer to as the negative websites, the websites that are attached to less than holy activities, if you will. Her advertisements will go on Google and Yelp, none of those other risque websites. Third, there will be signs posted in each of the spa rooms that outlining the services that are provided and prohibiting any sexual-related services. 4, she will have discussions with each of her employees to once again reinforce the types of behaviors not only that she expects, that she will and will not allow on her premises. 5th, she will only hire licensed masseuses. And 6, I found, and I have represented a fair number of massage spas throughout Illinois, more often than not, problems occur when the owner takes a vacation and leaves the spa running and leaves it in the hands of someone else. That's not her intention. If she's got vacations planned, she will close the spa so that she's there. If she's not there, then it's not in operation. So I think that's it. Again, foot, full body massages, and yeah, I think I'll open it up for questions.
All right, this is a public hearing. I don't think there's anyone here to speak on it. So we'll start with Commissioner Meyer again.
I don't have any questions. Thank you very much.
Commissioner Riles.
No questions, thank you.
Commissioner Sprague.
No questions for me, thank you.
Commissioner Berkey.
No questions, thank you.
Commissioner Heiken.
No, thank you for a very thorough presentation. No questions.
Yeah, you're just basically taking over what was previously another massage operation, which I think it's actually been a couple over the many years. So I'm impressed that you're going to be there 13 hours a day, 7 days a week. That seems like a lot.
Grueling.
Yeah, very grueling. Keep some time for yourself. Any other questions? And Marcy, you read the condition already. So, entertain a motion.
So moved. Second.
Berkey, Heiken.
Berkey, motion, Heiken, second. Commissioner Berkey?
Yes.
Commissioner Heiken?
Yes.
Commissioner Sprague is a yes. Commissioner Riles?
Yes.
Commissioner Meyer?
Yes?
Chairman Johnson?
Yes. See, he didn't need Mr. Patel. He did just fine.
I was not being disingenuous. The boy was good. I mean, he was good. I was impressed.
All right,
So you two will go to the October 17th Village Board meeting, and we can connect before then.
And thank you very
Okay,
much.
thank you. Yep.
It's nice to put a face with
Yeah.
a telephone. Thank you so much for all your assistance.
Yes, you're welcome.
good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck.
Good luck.
Thank you.
And now I need a motion to close 2022-35.
So moved.
Second.
Meyer and Riles. Commissioner Meyer?
Yes.
Commissioner Riles?
Yes.
Commissioner Heiken?
Yes.
Commissioner Berkey?
Yes.
Commissioner Sprague is a yes. Chairman Johnson?
Yes. All right, next up, we have several variation requests related to signage for the OK Dispensary and Westtown Bakery at 781 North Milwaukee. Due to the way these are written up, we're going to open all three for discussion, but then any conditions and any final vote on each one will be done individually. That saying it right, Mallory?
Yes.
So, Mr. Secretary, please read into the record the information for dockets 2022-36A, 36B, and 36C.
36A, a petition for 781 North Milwaukee, 50 LLC, seeking a variation from Title 21, Signs of the Wheeling Municipal Code, Chapter 21.4, wall-mounted signs and associated sections to permit a wall sign on a facade without street frontage or being adjacent to an off-street parking area for the property located at 781 North Milwaukee Avenue, Wheeling, Illinois. 36B, a petition from 781 North Milwaukee, 50 LLC, seeking a variation from Title 21, Signs of the Wheeling Municipal Code, Chapter 21.4, wall-mounted signs and associated sections to increase the maximum wall sign area on the north facade from 252 square feet to 360 square feet for the property located at 781 North Milwaukee Avenue, Wheeling, Illinois. 36C, a petition from 781 North Milwaukee, 50 LLC, seeking a variation from Title 21, Signs of the Wheeling Municipal Code, Chapter 21.4, wall-mounted signs and associated sections to permit a sign above the roof line of a building for the property located at 781 North Milwaukee Avenue, Wheeling, Illinois. A zoning variation is intended to be a method of adjustment to equalize regulations where the zoning code has created an unnecessary hardship. A variation is designed to allow affected property owners the same rights and privileges that others enjoy in the same zoning district. In order to be granted a variation, a petitioner is required to demonstrate through testimony to the Plan Commission at a public hearing that the request meets the standards of the village code, including but not limited to how their individual situation is unique or unusual. Prior to the public hearing, the petitioner provides written statements meant to show that their request for variation meets the standards established in Title 21. The commission chairperson will typically direct that these statements be entered into the record without a full reading of them at the hearing. Based upon the testimony and supporting materials submitted, the Plan Commission will make findings in support of or against the petitioner's testimony and report those findings to the village board.
Ms. Dines?
Okay, so I will try and quickly summarize the three signs. Well, there's actually four, but we'll talk about the ground sign after we get through these three. And they all pertain to the proposed sign on the north facade. So the first one is the code requires that a wall sign has to be either on a street frontage or adjacent to a parking lot. And if you'll see on this aerial, there is this lot that has the drainage way that separates the petitioner's property from the Lake Cook Road right away. So, I mean, nothing would ever get built there. So that's why they have to request this variation to put the sign on a wall without street frontage. So that's the first one. The second one, do this fast, is for the size. So the size is based on the length of frontage, and then you take that and multiply it by 1.5, and that's the size that you're permitted. So they would be permitted 252 square feet for the size of the sign, and they're requesting it to be increased to 360 square feet, which is still below the 400 square foot maximum for signage. So this is so that you can see the sign from when you're up on the Lake Cook Road ramp, because it's far away.
That picture isn't from.
This is,
from on
no,
top.
this is not from up top, but this was the picture that Steve took that I had. So this is actually, must be from, where were you guys?
From the ramp.
Oh, on the ramp, but, right. Oh, I don't have the other picture. That, when you're much farther away, you won't be able to see it unless it's bigger. And then we did have a condition on this one that it's kind of tied to the next one too, the rationale for the code does not permit roof signs. So the third request is to permit a roof sign. And as you can see from this, there's a lot of vegetation here. So they would like to put the roof sign up and avoid clearing out any of this vegetation. So we did suggest a condition on the second and third request that all vegetation on the north side of the building shall be preserved. And that is my summary of the three.
If I could also just add to that, a lot of that vegetation, or some of that vegetation, is actually in the diversionary channel, which is outside their scope of control. So they cannot clear a majority of the vegetation that is blocking the building. If IDOT were to come through and clear the diversionary channel, the visibility to the building would increase somewhat, but with the other landscaping on the site, we do understand the request for preserving the landscaping and bringing the sign up higher.
Yeah, the channel is actually in this thick wooded area.
Okay.
Oh, I have one more thing, sorry. And anything you see with the colors on the building, that's all going to be handled at a different time. So we're not going to talk about that here. They will come back for any facade changes that they're going to propose. So we're solely talking about the signage. Now I'm done.
Put that north elevation one back up. No, the drawing, or the rendering. That one, okay. Leave that one up.
Okay.
All right, is the petitioner here?
Yes.
Come on up.
Marcy, I just want to be clear, we're not talking about the south side of the building at all? The sign?
No, I showed that sign.
Yeah.
Just, there's no variances on that. I just wanted you to see that there were
Okay.
two signs.
Thank you.
on there.
Okay. You swear that?
I wasn't able to sign in.
Oh, you're. Oh,
Yeah, you
okay,
don't need to sign it.
Right.
We
Okay,
love to
so
be sworn in, yeah.
do you swear the testimony you're giving tonight to be the truth? Okay, as you speak, give us your name and business address for the record, and step up to the microphone.
Scott Weiner, business address is 781 North Milwaukee Avenue, Wheeling, for OK Cannabis Dispensary, as well as Westtown Bakery.
Okay, you can probably move that microphone up so you don't have to bend over so far. And you, sir?
Good evening. I'm Meha Pawar, 781 North Milwaukee Avenue. Scott's my partner.
Okay, so explain to us why we're here.
Well, thanks. Nice to see everyone again. So the place, this building itself, it's right at a place where most people are leaving Wheeling to get onto Lake Cook or pass through into Buffalo Grove. As we know, there's been two other businesses here, and one of the opportunities that we saw to help people be aware of the businesses here was to advertise that we're here via Lake Cook Road, which, as we know, has several thousand passerbys every day. So essentially, what we're trying to do here is bring people that might be passing through Wheeling into Wheeling to purchase a coffee, stop at the dispensary, hang out, work on their laptop. Based on how the building is, as you know, we saw that picture, it's a lot of vegetation. To the point, we had said back in April when we started working with the planning department that we really didn't want to remove any trees. However, you will see a full landscaping plan from us to vastly improve what it looks like right now. To the point you said before, there's only one tree back there right now that we've identified as being sick that would need to go. Mainly the roots are starting to go under the foundation, but it's our intent to manicure everything and have the trees. We like it. So for those reasons, we need to put a sign on the roof. So hopefully people driving on Lake Cook Road will decide to stop in, at least know we're here. For the many people that just go about their day, hopefully when people start, driving more on their daily commute, whether that be to work in the city or somewhere else. So just letting people know that we're here. And in terms of, I think it's evident why we can't put this on the wall. And, our intent is, like I said, just to show people where we are.
All right. Anything from you, sir?
Thank you. I think just to reiterate what Scott pointed out, there's been a couple establishments that tried to make a go here. With the acquisition and the build out, we're almost at $6 million. And so, we're up against the big boys in the cannabis space. We're offering something unique. I think we'd be the first dispensary in the state to have a food and beverage component. Operations like this exist on the West Coast and in Colorado, and they do quite well. But, we're up against a lot of the multi-state operators. And with the amount of investment we're putting into this location, we just want to do everything we possibly can to drive business into the establishment. Thank you.
Okay. So we'll go to the commission since we have no public here. Commissioner Sprague, let's start there.
Thank you, Chairman. Good evening. So I guess I'll start with the biggest elephant in the room, and that's that sign on the roof. To me, it looks like a billboard with the open space underneath it that shows all the brackets.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a fan of it. Is there any way that you could institute a mounting bracket on the facade itself, maybe have the sign rise above your roof line halfway, 3/4 of the way, instead of mounting it on the roof itself?
So we've had structural engineers out to this space, and it's a big sign. Even if it was at the 260 square foot, it's still a large sign. And just the way it lines up right now, and obviously this photo doesn't, we saw the other one with the trees. You would just miss the sign even if you're going onto the ramp from that respect. And from a structural standpoint, we're gonna have to reinforce with steel whatever we do. So it was the signage company's mentality that this is the safest way and the best way to do it. With that said, the brackets below, I'm sure this is a rendering, and I'm sure there's a way to make that go away if we wanted it to be all the way down, but I don't know how that would affect the square footage of the sign at that point.
The square footage, the backer doesn't count.
Even if we took like below the letters and we just made that go flat all the way down, that wouldn't add to the square footage?
No, just the letters count.
Okay, well, if that would be an easy fix, if that would make.
Yeah, if this was allowed, is there some way you could look into making it look more integrated as part of the building versus just a plain old sign up on your roof?
I think if we dropped the backing part down, that would accomplish that. And I do want to state that we're we're on a pace right now to open this business in mid-December. So one of the reasons that I'm here today to talk through the sign before we start talking about facade and landscaping is I really do need help so I can give the signage company direction so they can start fabricating, so I have a sign when we open. But if one of your conditions was another look to make sure that it blends in more with the building, 100% that would be something that I think could easily be accomplished, and that would be our perfect scenario too.
Yeah, because the way it stands now, I think it's a little bit detrimental to the characteristics of that corridor.
Thank you.
Okay, the south sign we're not addressing right now. Yeah, those are my concerns, that it just doesn't fit in with the rest of the businesses in the area, and that if you could integrate it with the building and make it look a little less billboard type of a sign, that may sway me, but as of right now, I just can't support it. Thank you. That's all I have.
Okay. Commissioner Berkey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening. So kind of piggybacking on Commissioner Sprague's comments, and maybe a question too for Marcy, if he had a support that wasn't like those, if it was a support that was a solid support under that sign, that also wouldn't count towards the size of the sign?
Correct.
Okay, so that would be another thing. So either lowering the sign down to, just flush with the top of the building, or, a support that's not in that post sort of style, but like just a solid support, if that's doable, I don't know, but that would look good too.
I think that's very doable. If that doesn't affect the variance, and I would say that's easily doable.
Okay, that's all I have.
Commissioner Riles.
Thank you. Good to see you again.
You too.
My question is, at night, the sign. I'm concerned a little bit about the billboard style look because to me, it's not trending in the direction that the village is trending as far as the look. But my question is, illumination at night, is there going to be some lighting or whatever to have the sign stand out for people traveling on Lake Cook Road at night? And if so, can you describe what it is?
It'll be just a simple kind of lighting up just to see the sign. Nothing, no weird neons or anything moving around, just to see the sign.
Have you considered something more than just a billboard with lighting at night to draw more attention to what you're doing?
Well, yes and no. So this is a $140,000 sign. Not just the cost of the sign, but the structure, everything to get it there. And we feel like it's so critical to have something here. And a digital sign would be awesome, but I know that's absolutely not what you guys would want here. So, in terms of what the branding is, the colors, it's a monochromatic color tone, which, through renderings within and without the building is sort of represented there. It's always tough in a rendering, but I can promise you that the way this sign will look it'll be a classy, beautiful sign. We're looking at a digital photo right now, which doesn't really do us justice with, the depth of it.
Yeah.
I've been sort of working and talking literally since April 12th with the Planning Commission to try to find something and I was told, we want to support you, we want to get you a variance on one of your signs. We just haven't had any sort of push to go away from this exact sign. We've had some other directions that we've worked with, but definitely not towards like the word billboard hasn't come up that I'm aware of. And Marcy, if I'm wrong, please correct me.
No. No, it has not come up.
Okay, I don't want to speak for anyone, but yeah, I tried to make this sign in a way that would earn your support.
Okay. 'Cause what comes to my mind, and I understand this is, not the finished product or anything of that, but no offense to anyone, but when I travel up north, past the border, and I see some signage on this, the side of the road, it gives me a different feel. And I don't know if, it gives me a feel of it's not, nothing wrong with country, and I'll use the term country, but it just gives a country feel when I'm traveling up north past the border in the next state.
Okay.
And so looking at this gives me that feel. And I think for what you're trying to do in some of the other restaurants in the area, Serenello's, for instance, it's a higher scale. And this sign, to me, doesn't reflect that community area, so to speak. So that was my concern. And I echo the billboard look, because from this picture, that's what it looks to me. And it looks like it's like we just need to get a sign up there, make it big, make it elaborate so that people can know that we're here, as opposed to really identifying your brand with a higher look of class, so to speak. And not to say it's not classy,
Sure.
by any means, but I just think that this signage indicates that it's not a higher scale operation for what you guys are looking for.
Can I add something?
Sure.
Just so it's clear, this is a pan, like it's a pan on the back, and these letters are actually raised. They're raised, I can't read that, 5 inches. So the village requires that there's some depth in the sign.
Okay.
So it's not a flat sign at
Okay.
all. There's
Okay.
there's definitely depth in it. So the pan is, I'm sorry, I can't read this, is a 4-inch deep pan. It's not like a flat board. You see it on the back of other signs that just came up, like in Town Center. Maybe the spa has a backer on it. Is that right?
Arctic Spoon is a classic example of what
Yeah.
this might look like.
It has the back
It has
panel
a
on
solid
it.
backer board,
Right.
meat and potatoes.
Right.
has-
Right, and then the lettering sticks out from there, so you do see some dimensions.
Okay,
I just
yeah.
wanted to make sure that was clear.
And I was trying to draw to the cost of the sign, illustrating that this is a nice, it's a beautiful sign. The colors will pop. It would be very inexpensive to do a billboard and have a,
Right. Right.
This will, like I said, it's hard to show justice in this.
Right, it's not giving justice to what you actually have in mind to put in place.
I can tell you that we're spending more per square foot on this interior of this building than any bakery and dispensary in the state of Illinois. I can tell you that 100%. So unfortunately, the sign companies aren't always the most graphically designed, but I can tell you it's going to be a beautiful sign and you guys will be proud of it. And it will drive people into Wheeling to spend money in Wheeling.
Yeah, because I understand the money and the work that you guys are putting into it, and you seem like, you know what you're doing. But the signage obviously doesn't give it justice from what you shared with us and what I believe you're investing time and money in. And it's branding, and you want the branding to meet your product.
The Westtown sign, to Marcy's point, it's the Westtown Bakery sign, it's the exact same sign that is literally across from Wrigley Field at Hotel Zachary. It's got depth, it's got character, and the Cubs, they put it in front of their building.
Right.
So but I completely understand the concern.
Well, that paints a different picture, right?
Yeah.
It paints a different picture, but I appreciate you explaining it. And you said, of course, you're going to have lighting to illuminate it at night.
I believe it's illuminated as well.
So if you see, they're like little, each letter is a box, and it lights up.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's not face lighting like he indicated.
Right, it's not like you
It's
see
internally
a
illuminated.
spotlight. It's right, it's internally illuminated. Each letter will light up.
Gotcha.
It will be visible. And-
Yeah, I'm sure of that.
And that's,
I never doubted that. It's the look of visibility, right? That's fine, thank you. I appreciate it. Good luck.
thank you.
Commissioner Hyken.
Yeah, I'm on board with everybody as well, and I think part of the problem is the renderings that we got really don't show that sign in its true visual. I mean, it's got depth, it's like a three-dimensional, like most of the other signs. But I would like to see the standards that you see from underneath, I'd like to see those disappear as well.
Like I said, that's
And you've
an
already
easy
commented
condition.
on that. Yeah, that's where I'm at.
One other thing I would say about this sign company in general, when I spoke about the Cubs, and this is the, Southwater does signs for Willis Tower, Wrigley, so they're reputable, and like I said, the rendering just doesn't do it justice.
I think that's probably what messed up a lot, everybody's opinion on it.
Hopefully I swayed you.
You're all good. That's all I have, thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Meyer.
Thank you so much. So just a few comments. I really appreciate your investment in the community. Very excited to see your development come to fruition. Happy that you're retaining the existing trees. I do understand the depth that's been talked about relative to the signage. I would say a couple things. I did think Westtown Bakery's logo was more black and white than purple. Maybe that's just the way it's showing up here on this particular.
I may need some help. I believe at one point, this might have been for future discussion on landscaping. We were told to keep the colors at, was it 3?
Well, that's for the building elevations.
Okay.
That's what we're trying to achieve there. The signage itself, if Westtown's logo is black and white, then black and white would be the standard.
It is a black and white sign.
Okay. And, the other thing I would just comment on, and I share Commissioner Sprague's concerns, if there were more signage specifics here for us to look at from an appearance review standpoint, it would probably help. I'm fully supportive of the fact that you need a large sign. You certainly want to draw in that traffic on Lake Hook Road and Milwaukee. I just want to make sure that, again, relative to the other businesses in the area, that your sign is complementary, not necessarily an outlier.
Understood. Just to ask a question back, are you looking to see an example of the sign elsewhere in?
That would have been, that might be a little helpful, especially as, things continue to progress in your conversations.
Okay.
Just a suggestion.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I wish the landscaping looked like this picture, because then I would say put it on the wall, because by definition, that's where a wall sign belongs. Again, the billboard effect that this brings, Commissioner Riles talked about going north and seeing these signs. I think it looks like the fireworks store signs in Indiana, so, where you can see them from 3 miles away on the highway. To me, it's too big, it's too high. At the very least, drop it down to the roof line. It would still be above the roof, but, and then my other question is, if these trees that you're trying to save, and some of them aren't yours, as they get bigger, were you planning on just jacking up the sign and trying to stay above the trees? Because,
well, there hasn't been, even the last tenant, or the last Twin Peaks, they haven't really manicured or taken care of the landscaping, and I think that's our intent, is to keep things at a good level and make the building look good. So with that said, I do like the greenage. I do like that there's trees there, and when it's manicured, it can look beautiful. I really don't want to have to like take a chainsaw, cut the top of these things. I'm trying to find the best solution here for the vegetation and for nature, as well as to what I think is the most important wall of this building, because really, by the time you get to this building going northbound on Milwaukee, you've already turned onto the highway.
Chairman Johnson, also those trees that are there are in excess of 20, 25 years old, in that range now. So we don't actually anticipate them to grow much taller.
Okay.
So
They're not going to grow any shorter, though.
they're not going to grow any shorter. But
And hopefully you guys will be here for a lot of years. So
That's my intent, as well as maybe a couple more restaurants.
all right, let's see what else I have. Unrelated to this, I have to ask why you didn't put anything on the west facade for people coming down that ramp. It's right in front of them.
Money. We had something on it, and we pulled it out. We ran out of money, and we need to, we need to have a sign on the south side of the building, because it's the front, it's where the entrance was. Originally, we had submitted a sign on each side, and it's just everything we budgeted for when we started looking at this project has gone up by 20–25%, and that's just the reality.
Well, maybe if you made this one a little bit smaller, you could.
I believe me, I looked at it, but there's also on the west side of this building, there's also a lot of trees, and it's a similar scenario where you're looking at taking trees down, and the structural issues that we had on the west side to put any decent sign were going to be tough, as well as we have the monument sign that's towards the entrance that we thought satisfied the west.
Well, other than not wanting to start a precedent of having signs above roof lines all over town. Yeah, I can't support it the way it is. We have to change something, either lower it down, at least get rid of the billboard look. Something's got to be different.
I'm not trying to like bring up like the super dog, right? But that's a roof sign. It has backing that's visible. So I think the signage company went from that a bit, but from a variance standpoint, today, I guess what I'm asking is if the variants are able to pass and I'm able to start construction on main parts of that, if the backing doesn't count towards the variance, I would ask for your support, knowing that we can have an affidavit signed, that nothing would go up there without your final approval on that, not having those poles at the bottom that you see. Because frankly, my biggest concern right now is also lead times. I ordered our kitchen equipment for this place in in January earlier this year, before I even owned the building. That's how committed I was to the building, but that's also how long things are taking. And I think it would be a travesty if we opened and it was crickets, because it was hard to know that we were here. And our staffing plan is immense. I'm about to hire somewhere in close to 65 people between the two operations. That if there is a scenario where it takes us too long to get our feet off the ground, I'm going to be cutting hours and unable to fulfill my duties to the employees. So I would ask for a little bit of help in understanding that we'll get this. This isn't a billboard. It just looks like an Apple, draw type picture, but you'll be proud of what goes up there.
And, we could also make it a condition that some kind of either extending the sign down to the roof line, or as Commissioner Berkey said, some kind of support there, could be made a condition, because that seems to be the primary concern of most of the commissioners, or one way to address the concern is to have it go flush. If that's added as a condition, there's no need to continue it.
Or maybe we can just say that the supports can't be visible?
Yep.
Yeah.
I was going to say, that would be a condition.
I would actually prefer if you would be willing to drop the sign down to the roof.
Yeah.
Lose that 2 foot underneath it.
From a height perspective, it's,
Well, I don't know structurally if you can do that. I'm just saying, I don't know if you want to, because see how tall this is?
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm not a structural person, but I don't know if then it would
But if
stick
you
out the
just
top.
lowered that on, you know.
And so I didn't know if the thing in the back would stick out.
this is we've had this structural.
That's what I'm saying, structurally, I don't know if they can.
It would actually be stronger if you brought it down closer to the roof line than what it is now.
Yeah, I don't know, we need to leave
But would
that
you be
to the
willing to do
structural
that?
From a structural, so you, Marcy, my eyes don't work so well. How many inches is that above the roof line?
It's 2 foot.
It's 2 feet.
2 feet.
You know, if that's what it takes to get through this today, and from a structural standpoint, it could be doable, you know, yes. Would I prefer to just fill down? Yes, I would. I would tell you we're dropping structural steel into the actual roof of this to make this thing work. So that's the only reason I don't want to answer anything. But I think that you know, if I lost a foot, 18 inches, it wouldn't be the end of the world. I don't know if it would be exactly all the way.
Yeah, that would be a suitable compromise also, if you could at least come down maybe a foot and fill in the rest, or.
I would agree to that.
So maybe we could make that a condition?
Yeah, we can make that, certainly can make that a
And
condition.
are we okay with the size of the sign, which is another variation? They are, what did I figure, 43% larger than our current code provides?
I don't have a problem with the size or that it's on a facade without a street. I don't have a problem with either of those.
Okay, anyone on the size, anyone have a comment?
I'm okay.
I just have like one question.
Go ahead.
The location, and I understand, I get it. And we talked about the west visibility of cars coming off the ramp, and you talked about the obstruction there, right? Did you guys ever consider like the northwest corner point of the building to?
It's the same, well, it's not all of our property, but it's filled in with, it's just a forest. It's trees, and there's a tree going right on the northwest corner.
Because I'm trying to visualize, because I drive down there too, and I know what I see when I'm trying to visualize. But that was just a thought, a question that I had as far as location. Because you're getting both the off-ramp heading east, plus the continuing the south side look going past, as opposed to just the north side. I'm sorry.
Originally, like I said, we have the sign on the entrance of which is coming from the ground up.
Right.
And originally we did have a sign on the west wall, which we had to value engineer out. But then there's also the brick that hides like where the air conditioning units and all that is. And I think that will come up in the landscape, in the facade photos, where, you know, our hope is to have some color there and maybe something that shows that we're there.
Right.
So that's our sort of fallback to it from, I mean, financially, I wish I could have a sign everywhere. Right. And originally, as I think everyone remembers, I did have a sign. I did have a sign everywhere. I had one in the parking lot too that I was hoping, originally, prior to doing the roof sign, we had thought to have one or the other, a sign actually in the parking lot that went up.
Right.
But that was I was told a big no-no, so move it.
Right. Okay. That's
Just trying to bring people to Wheeling.
No, I get it. I get it. Yeah.
Thank you.
How about you guys down there? Any problem with the size of the sign?
No objection to the size.
Okay.
Do we need to take a poll on the dropping it? and-
Yes, we probably should. So how do we want to word that?
We can go out and give you a few moments if you'd like.
No.
Public hearing?
Um,
How do you have it worded right now?
I just have, sign shall be dropped 1 foot and supports shall not be visible. So I guess, are you in support of that? Yes or no?
Does it have to be 1 foot? I don't know exactly where the roof line would fall. I mean, if it could be dropped 18 inches and it's right on the roof line, that's
Right, so
better.
that's,
It's, the roof line is 2 foot below the sign as
oh
as
yeah, it
drawn
is
right
2
now.
feet.
So
I think
So-
that was it was kind of
The-
what Sprague Commissioner Sprague had proposed was almost like a compromise between dropping it all the way and leaving it where it is or just filling it down.
Okay. So, let's see, to formalize the poll, shall we have a condition that asks them to drop the sign 12 to 18 inches and fill in so that we don't see the supports?
I think specifically for me anyway, the supports are the sticking point. So to me, if the condition were to just not be able to see the supports, whether that be dropping down or have a different type of support that doesn't look like the posts, that would be,
You're not concerned about the height, is your point?
not concerned with
Okay,
the height.
okay.
Commissioner Heiken?
Yeah, I'm not concerned about the height either. I just want to see the supports.
Okay. Commissioner Sprague?
I would like to see it dropped and then no supports visible.
Commissioner Lyons?
No support.
What about the height?
What about the height?
I don't want to see, I want the supports, but,
We want it just levitating.
yeah, hey, yeah, but of course, just
No support.
bring it down.
Commissioner Rouse, do you care about the height being at where it is or being?
I don't. I'm comfortable with it.
Okay.
Okay with that? Commissioner Meyer?
Yes, I'm fine with the height, and I vote for less visible on the support aspect.
Okay. And I would like to see it lowered and the support's gone, but I guess the general consensus is just hide the supports.
So I wrote it as the support shall not be visible.
Yeah.
And then you guys can kind of just decide, depending on the engineers, if that's dropping the sign a little lower, dropping the height of the sign.
Or making the
different
pan
support,
bigger.
Making a panel bigger, kind of, there gives you flexibility based on your communications with your structural engineer and your sign company.
And
Thank you.
personally, I'd like to see that on the south sign too, but we're not talking about that one.
No, the south sign meets the sign requirements.
Yes, but the previous tenant, owner, whatever, had it on the roof line, not.
They had the letters sitting on the roof. Right, I just wanted it to
And
be
the
clear.
brackets are still there.
Yeah, I just wanted to be clear that they don't need any variations for
Right.
that one.
I just want to bring one thing up on that. Not to, the previous owner didn't have the Starbucks in that other building there too. So is.
Oh, that's true.
So there's a different scenario because it does cost more to do the way we're doing it. And that wasn't what our original intent was. Then all of a sudden, we saw a building getting built right there.
Well, that's where your next sign, the ground sign that we're going to talk about, will help. So, okay. So what, if any, conditions do we have on 36A?
36A. Okay, hold on, sorry, I have to save it. No condition, well, no conditions.
And 36A is the permitting, okay, on the street frontage, okay. So, a motion to approve 2022-36A, the variation to permit a wall sign on a facade without street frontage or being adjacent to an off-street parking area.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you.
Commissioner Sprague is a yes. Commissioner Heiken?
Yes.
Commissioner Berkey?
Yes.
Commissioner Riles?
Yes.
Commissioner Meyer?
Yes.
Chairman Johnson?
Yes. All right. Do we need to close that one? before we
You
move
open
on?
them all at once, so
So we can close
we
them all?
can close them all at once.
Okay. So, motion on 2022-36B, variation to permit increase in the maximum wall sign area on the north facade from 252 square feet to 360 square feet. Is there any condition on this one?
Yes, one condition, all vegetation on the north side of the building shall be preserved.
Can I, there is one sick tree, I just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah. I don't know that I mean, they need to clean up the landscaping that they're responsible for, but as Ross pointed out, a lot of it's not
Right.
theirs.
Well, the condition doesn't apply to anything off their property.
Right.
So we don't want to not,
Do you want to say all healthy
yeah,
vegetation?
all healthy vegetation shall be preserved.
Thank you.
Okay?
Got it.
And manicured.
And cleaned up all the way around. Yeah, motion to approve this one.
So moved.
Second.
Was that Commissioner Heiken?
Yes.
Commissioner Meyer?
Yes.
Commissioner Heiken?
Yes.
Commissioner Berkey?
Yes.
Commissioner Sprague is a yes. Commissioner Riles?
Yes.
Chairman Johnson?
Yes. And finally, on this one, 36C.
Okay, hold on a second, my other condition
Okay.
is gone.
This is the variation to permit a sign above the roof line of a building.
So this again, all healthy vegetation on the north side shall be preserved, and what did I say? The sign supports, what did I say?
The signs of shall not be.
Shall not be visible. Thanks.
Yeah.
And if you can lower it, it's even better.
Okay.
Okay? Motion?
So moved. Second.
Berkey and Heiken. Yep. Commissioner Berkey?
Yes.
Commissioner Heiken?
Yes.
Commissioner Sprague is a yes. Commissioner Riles?
Yes.
Commissioner Meyer?
Yes.
Chairman Johnson?
Yes.
Reluctantly.
Reluctantly, yes. Hesitantly, yes.
Thank you.
Okay, now we need a motion to close all three of these.
So moved.
Second.
It's Meyer and Riles. Commissioner Meyer?
Yes.
Commissioner Riles?
Yes.
Commissioner Heiken?
Yes.
Commissioner Berkey?
Yes.
Commissioner Sprague is a yes. Chairman Johnson?
Yes. All right.
Okay, so those three will go to the October 17th Village Board meeting.
Okay. And lastly, we have a review for a ground sign for the same petitioner, which is not subject to a formal public hearing. Docket SCBA 22-05, parents' approval for a ground sign at 781 North Milwaukee Avenue. Ms. Nyes, anything?
So we just had here's where it's located. We just had two conditions. So the address has to be shown on the sign, so first condition, the address shall be added to either the face of the sign or the vertical west edge of the sign, it's up to you. And the base of the sign is proposed out of a brick material, which doesn't really match anything on the building. So a suggestion from staff was that an alternate building material is used for the sign base that is consistent with the materials on the building facade, but that's open for.
Yes, that's open for us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so, Commissioner Meyer.
Yeah, I concur. I think from an aesthetic standpoint, if you can explore what materials you may be able to use to be more consistent with your building facade, I think that would look a little more appealing.
Understood. I do believe that they were trying to match the sign over by the hotel, which I believe was brick. I believe.
Yeah, the other signs are brick.
That's why they did that.
Okay.
So,
But again, if you wouldn't mind, I'd be fine, approving this with that recommendation.
Understood, yeah, I'll definitely look at it.
Thank you very much.
Commissioner Heiken.
Yes, I agree with Commissioner Meyer, same thing.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Commissioner Riles.
Just a quick question. What's your color scheme, your branding? Because this is like bluish and the back sign was like purplish. So can you identify what your actual branding colors are or will be?
Yes, so I wanted to save all of you from bringing my branding guy here. He's been eager to come to these, and I may bring him to the Façade time. But we're going for a monochromatic color scheme. So basically different shades. There are various colors. The interior, it's a very colorful dispensary. The bakery is already very colorful. And when you think about the places that are out there right now, and there's no offense to any of them, Hatches and Wheeling, they do a fantastic job. Curaleaf is down Lake Cook Road, down Dundee over by 41. There's a Sunnyside. They all have a very similar feel in which Hatch is a little different, but there's a lot of an Apple store kind of feel to it with maybe hope nobody's listening, a medicinal sort of, they all had the ability to sell medical, or a lot of them did, and, a plant here and there. As 185 new licenses come out into the state, we've understood that we needed to be different, more competitive, hence the food and beverage component, and stand out as a brand that people can identify with more than just this is our one color, and because we're the only ones in town, there's only 20 licenses, whatever, in the area, this is what we're doing. So it is a colorful mentality, and you'll see the OK logo with monochromatic means, very different shades of the same color, essentially. You'll see that throughout the space. And as we get into more of the actual brand itself, I'd be happy to share our branding documents with our website framework. There is a huge component to just the vision and the message behind this, as opposed to just being a cannabis dispensary. And there's a lot of inclusivity, which one of the things we've been saying is many hues of one color. Basically, is everyone has a space within this building.
Thank you.
Sorry if that was a long run.
No, it makes sense. I get it now.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Commissioner Berkey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So just as far as the location of the sign, I'm looking at the photos of where it's going to go. Yeah, right there. Where is it going in relation to these trees?
I think somewhere in here.
In the front?
Is that right?
Essentially where our public notice is.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to understand that. That's good. I was worried it was going to go in between, behind that circular tree. So.
Saving all the trees.
Yeah. Okay. That's all I have. Thanks.
Commissioner Sprague.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I actually am the other way with the sign. I would rather see it match the sign that it's opposite of. I think it would show more continuity for that whole area. Unless you're looking to stand out, then I would say it should lean more towards materials from your building. But I would prefer it to actually, instead of faux brick, have it the same brick as the sign that it's going to be across from.
Meaning the hotel sign with the Serenellos, that brick?
The Starbucks sign that just went up, the monument sign that just went up.
It's just the opposite side of the entrance there?
Okay, I have to look at it. It just went up?
Yeah.
It looks like the same red brick you're proposing, it's just real.
Okay. So I'll try to match theirs. Assuming,
Well, I guess we should
Well, the poll.
Yeah, because
We'll
there's
have to poll,
different,
yeah.
there's different opinions here.
Whatever, yeah.
We'll pull it, and whatever you guys decide, if you want me to go brick, I'll go brick.
But that's all I have.
Okay. Well, frankly, when the vegetation grows up, based on this rendering, you're not going to see much of the brick no matter what it is. I originally thought that, yeah, you could take the elements from the columns in that building, the white stone, and use that. I didn't think about the one across the driveway, so if you could match that, that would be fine too. Either one of those would be fine with me. I would think Westtown Bakery would want their logo a little bit bigger, but but that's not up to us. All right, so do we need a poll on the brick?
Yes, we need a poll.
So I'd say, do you want them to match the building or match the sign across the street?
See, I haven't looked at the sign across the street. Commissioner Sprague, can you?
It's the same brick that they've used, like around Starbucks and the rest of that building. It's the same, it's kind of a darker terracotta type of color.
Okay,
And
so-
it's a taller sign, and it's just solid,
And it's
brick.
all brick.
And that
up
just
the
has like
sides and the bottom.
inserts for this.
And there's inserts, right.
No, okay.
So I would be okay if, like you mentioned, with like a flagstone or whatever that's called on their building, either that or matching that sign. Either or would be fine with me. But I think it would show a little more continuity if it was the same as the sign on the other side of the entrance.
Or we could give them the option to do either or
We could.
say, work with staff. We've done that before.
We can always fall on that sword.
Well, let's see what everyone thinks.
Commissioner Heiken, what do you think? Do we give them the option of either matching the one on the other side of the driveway or matching with their stone that's on their own building?
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
With what?
With
Either or?
giving them the
Either or.
Yeah,
Either or?
yeah.
Okay.
Like you said, half of that, once that vegetation grows, you're not going
Yeah.
to see it anyway.
Hopefully it'll grow.
Right.
Commissioner Berkey, you're the same?
I'm good with that, yes.
Commissioner Sprague, you in agreement with that?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
I will support that, yes.
Okay. So, use your magic fingers and
So I said an alternate material is used. This sounds weird. I'm going to say
base material.
work with staff to find an alternate material for the sign base that is consistent with the materials on the building facade or the sign across the street, or across the entrance. Should I say the Starbucks sign?
No,
No.
leave them out of it.
Well, I mean, that's the sign we're talking about, though.
Yes.
But it's not just Starbucks.
I know. Well, that's all that's there now.
It'll be everything else that's going in there.
Is that okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Is it clear?
It's clear.
You have alternatives.
All right, any other questions on this sign? Nope, nope, nope. Okay. Then I would like to hear a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Berkey, Heiken. Commissioner Berkey.
Yes.
Commissioner Heiken.
Yes.
Commissioner Sprague is a yes. Commissioner Riles.
Yes.
Commissioner Meyer.
Yes.
Chairman Johnson.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so that is approved here and does not go any further.
You can go put it up today.
So I guess we will talk about the base another day.
Guys, this was the easy one. I'll be back here in about a month with facade work.
All right.
Okay.
You
That's it.
gentlemen are done.
Thank you very much.
You said mid-December you're planning on opening?
I am.
Is that both opening at the same time, or are you going to do staggered?
Yeah, you want to go?
It's really dependent on So we're ready, we're under construction. Is the state ready to inspect?
Okay. Good luck.
That's a question.
All right, good luck.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
All right, let's see what we got. Okay, approval of minutes of the regular meeting of August 24th and August 10th, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Sprague is a yes. Commissioner Meyer?
Yes.
Commissioner Heiken?
Yes.
Commissioner Berkey?
Yes.
Commissioner Riles?
Yes.
Chairman Johnson?
Yes. Other business. Marcy, anything for us?
I have nothing.
Mr. Clicker?
I could give you a couple updates on projects that are going on
That
around
would
town
be
if you'd like.
wonderful.
Sure.
Yes. As long as you're here.
Does it include Wolf Road?
What's that, I'm sorry?
Does that include Wolf Road?
I'm not in charge of that project, so I can't, but I do know that the final acceptance is supposed to be by mid-October. So that project is actually moving along quite nicely. There were some delays due to various labor actions in that this year, but they worked through those, and that project is wrapping up. Some of the other projects you'll probably see or have seen going on around town is that Used Mandarin is most likely going to be opening in the next couple of weeks, we hope. The Starbucks should be ready to be opened actually this Friday, but they haven't given an official opening date, but all the final village approvals should be granted to them by Friday.
Now, they're going to move out of the one on Strong?
It's already gone.
The Strong location is already closed.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So that's another indication that the new location is about to open. As far as construction projects that you've seen going on, Popeyes is well under construction. It's all going to be under roof very soon. The Union Apartments, the foundation is completely in. The elevator shaft and stairwell shafts are going up as we speak. AETC, which is a building going up on Alice, or an addition going up on Alice to a building that does battery technologies. Their addition is well underway. Their elevator shaft and steel framing is up. London Crossing, I'm sure you see the new school district administration building moving along rapidly. They're also, by mid-October, are to have all the infrastructure in place, including the curb and gutter and base coat of the roadways, so that the townhome construction can begin mid-October as well.
Yeah, I see they had parking lot lights up already.
Yeah, they're moving along now. So Prairie Park Townhomes, I don't think I need to tell two of you what's going on there, but the 6 buildings are going up. The one is completely framed out under roof. Another building is practically about halfway framed, and 4 of the 6 foundations of the 6 buildings are in. So they're moving along quite nicely as well.
District brew yards?
District brew yards, we're hoping that they are going to be open very shortly. They're putting in the final stages. The exterior deck is done, the exterior graffiti art wall, and the paint mural on the silo is done. It looks fabulous. The signage is up. So we're anticipating that they should be opening very soon.
Waiting for free sample.
Going to have a lot of ribbon cuttings coming up. All right. Commissioner Heiken.
Nothing for me, thank you.
Commissioner Berkey.
Nothing for me, thanks.
Commissioner Sprague. Anything?
Nothing for me, thanks.
Commissioner Riles.
Thank you. I just have to add or mention that I'm a board member of a Monster Education Foundation, and we just held our 6th annual 5K run at the Wheeling Park District. We had a decent turnout. It's beautiful weather, but the Park District was very supportive, and they have been in the past of what we're doing. And I just want to say thank you to those involved.
Very good. Commissioner Meyer.
Nothing, thank you.
And I don't really have anything this week either. So with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Berkey, Heiken.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned.